We have compiled interesting information about North Korea in 10 items for you. You won't believe what you hear and see. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea is a country located in East Asia. The population of the country, whose capital is Pyongyang, is 25 million. The North Korean won is used as currency. Its area is 120,540 square kilometers. North Korea, which has no contact with the outside, can be considered the most mysterious country in the world with its closed structure. Information about the secret kingdom, North Korea, is rather limited but interesting. Here are 10 surprising facts about North Korea. 1. Enemy brothers, North and South Korea. Korea was divided into two regions by the decision of the winning side as a result of the Second World War. The northern part was occupied by the Soviet Union, and the southern part was occupied by the USA. North Korea's adoption of a socialist structure under the influence of the Soviets and the free market economy prevailing in South Korea increased the tension between the two regions. The war that broke out with North Korea's declaration of independence in 1950 resulted in the deaths of approximately 3 million people. Assassination attempts, hostage-holding practices, and bomb attacks between the two remaining hostile countries still continue today. 2. All power in the hands of the dynasty. Shaped under the leadership of Kim Il-sung, the chairman of the Workers' Party of Korea, North Korea has been governed by rulers descended from Kim since its establishment. In this respect, it can be said that there is a kind of dynastic system in the country. The authority of the leader is quite wide. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un heads the office where all the powers of the army, the state, and the Communist Party are gathered. Although 70% of the atheists do not believe in a creator, leaders in North Korea are officially considered to have the status of God. Leaders are believed to have extraordinary powers. According to sources from North Korea, Kim Jong-un started walking at 3 weeks and speaking at 8 weeks. 3. Not socialism, Juche. North Korea initially acted with the idea of socialism, and in the process created the concept of Juche by blending socialism with national values. Juche can most typically be described as Korean-style socialism. It was described by Kim Il-sung in 1965 as independence and self-sufficiency in the fields of politics, economy, and defense. Adopted as the official ideology of North Korea in 1992. Juche is based on endless loyalty to the leader. There is a 150-meter Juche monument in Pyongyang, the capital of the country. 4. Single candidate election. North Korea claims to be a democratic republic and cites elections held every 5 years as proof of this. But the strange thing is that there is only one candidate in the election. The only option on the ballot is North Korea's sole party, the Workers' Party of Korea. Voting is done openly, in front of the authorities. The compass is thrown into one of the two ballot boxes, which means supporting and rejecting the candidate. The votes are then counted in a closed manner. The ruling party wins the elections with 100% of the votes, and the people flock to the streets to celebrate the election results. 5. Crying ceremonies. After the death of Kim Jong-il in 2011, the images of North Koreans crying in the square surprised everyone. These crying ceremonies are actually an informal convention. Those who do not shed tears behind the dead leaders are tried and punished with heavy penalties such as 6 months of unpaid work or imprisonment. In fact, many of the people in the footage cried heartily because North Koreans are so attached to their leaders that they may even think that the world will end when their leader dies. This is not the only occasion for crying for the leader. North Koreans also have to cry when they see their leader. That's why in all of Kim Jong-un's visits, people are seen crying around him. These images are touted as crying with joy in the country's media. 6. North Koreans who don't know the outside world. In North Korea, leaving the country is not allowed, with the exception of the exceptional rights granted to high-ranking government officials. There is no internet available to the public in the country, and certain institutions and individuals who have the right to access the internet cannot access connections outside the country. Media tools such as television and magazines do not include foreign content. In fact, the penalty for watching South Korean TV series smuggled into the country through China is death. Except for the 200,000 people who have managed to escape since its founding, North Koreans have no idea what the outside world is like. According to information obtained from people who managed to escape from North Korea, North Koreans are taught that Americans are a gorilla-like creature. They also think that they won the World Cup in 2014. 7. Being a tourist in North Korea. Getting out of North Korea is almost impossible for an ordinary citizen, while a tourist who wants to go to North Korea has quite difficult stages to go through. The annual number of tourists in the country, which requires a special permit instead of a visa, is only 2,000. Tourists have to stay in hostels designated for them. With guides appointed by the state, they can only visit the locations determined by the state. The photos taken must be in a way that does not create a negative impression about North Korea. Since the cameras and phones are inspected at the time of departure from the country, the photos that are not suitable are deleted. It is claimed that most of the people in tourist places are actors pretending to be commoners, and they are obliged to present North Korea as a country with a high level of prosperity. 8. Low standards of living. North Koreans are trying to survive for low wages and under very difficult working conditions. The fact that their stature is on average 3 to 8 centimeters shorter than South Koreans is thought to be due to malnutrition of the population. They also have an average lifespan of 12 years less than in South Korea. Only 11 out of every 1,000 people in the country have a personal vehicle, and everyone else uses public transport. In a country with a population of 25 million, the number of people using telephones is limited to 3 million. 9. Ghost villages. There are dozens of villages consisting of well-kept houses in the border regions of North Korea with South Korea. In Kŭmgangsan, the most well-known of these ghost villages, propaganda speeches are played for 20 hours a day. According to the official statements of North Korea, 200 families live in the village, however. In fact, not a single person living in all of the border villages has been encountered. It is widely believed that these structures were built to make South Koreans jealous and to immigrate to North Korea. It is also thought that the villages camouflage their underground bunkers and military equipment. 10. The modern caste system, Songbun. In North Korea, people are divided into 3 different classes, symbolizing the degree of trustworthiness, with a system called Songbun. These are the core class, the in-between, and the enemies. The classification process is done by looking at the origins of the person. For example, having a relative living in South Korea means minus points, while having someone in the family who took part in the Korean War means plus points. The class that a North Korean citizen belongs to affects his whole life, from the job he will work to the person he will marry. Every North Korean must get government approval to get married. If the state does not find the Songbun grades of the people who want to marry compatible with each other, it will not allow the marriage. The state determines the house where married couples will live. Enemy class North Koreans are deported to hard labor, and their children, and even their descendants 10 generations later, continue to be considered the lowest class.